This one for me definitely felt like the kind of like cheesy action movie equivalent of a novel, and it kind of works. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Shield in Shadows by Andy Peloquin, the first book in the Silent Champions. And this is kind of, as I was talking about here, definitely that sort of like cheesy action type of thing. I think it's sort of like a popcorn read. It works. This one, the action sequences are really good. And we start with Erevan, who is part of this. He's a captain in the Legion, and he's part of this absolutely disastrous ambush where his entire company is wiped out, and he's presumed dead. And so this is used as the reason to put him and have him be the captain of this new secret order of like elite people who are supposed to help turn the tide of the war. So it kind of reminded me of like the Expendables movies where you're getting the people together. For me, I do tend to like a little bit more depth and complexity here. This is a bit more like the fast-paced action kind of thing, which kind of makes sense what I've heard about this author. This is the first one that I have read. I should note also this was a review copy that was sent to me a bit ago here. So I'll note that with the review. But anyway, so yeah, I tend to prefer a little bit more depth here. This is, and it's presented as being like military epic fantasy. It feels very much, instead of like being really like focused on the military aspects, especially early on, it feels more like it's kind of like the band of misfits getting together and that type of thing. And we're moving kind of quickly and we're just set up. And it's the kind of book too where you're not really meant to stop and like question things. You're just supposed to be kind of swept along and going in as we see this group train. And you've got some of the different, archetypes of characters that you see. So it's the kind of thing that it's kind of a fun one. I think a lot of people that just, especially if you like kind of the fast-paced things, I tend to like my a little bit more slow, deeper type of reads. This is more like on the surface level, but it is entertaining. And like I mentioned too, the action scenes I think are really well done. You have that right at the beginning, and then once you get further into, there's quite a lot more action, and I imagine there's going to be a lot of that. And a lot of those sequences I think were the highlights here. There were some things I felt like just like character inconsistencies or things that just weren't quite explained. There was one particular character who just basically was just like always seeming to be a problem for one reason or another. And I'm just like, I don't feel like, I know this is like a secret group, but this is a type of military, team, so there still should be some more discipline there, and things do get a little bit different there too. But so there were some things like that where I just felt like we had some characters that were kind of there filling the role that they're supposed to fill, and again, that's where it felt like we're kind of going for that lighter, cheesy type of movie. And there's not to say this is super cheesy. There's a lot of serious moments here, but it's just kind of that's like 80s action movie kind of feel, but in a fantasy world and dealing with kind of fantasy things is sort of where this one felt. So ultimately, I was kind of in the middle here. I thought this was solid, and I do think that people who like the fast-paced type of books that are just more like fun and entertaining, you're probably going to like this more than I did too. And I thought it was solid. Nothing that was particularly like bad that stood out or anything either, but it also didn't jump and have kind of the height. So that's where I landed about in the middle, 3 stars on this one here. And I think from seeing this author, I know he's got a series that are longer too. This was a little bit more on the shorter side, but it looks like there's quite a few books in this series, and so the kind of series that you can binge and go through and do the whole thing. I think this is going to fit well in that type of thing. It's really more so the kind of thing the popcorn reads. So like this would be something that I think as sort of like a palate cleanser probably would work really well. Is kind of how I like to do the shorter kind of just easier reading books with it as well. It's not going to have necessarily like the depth that some of my favorites and my more niche things do, but I can definitely see why a lot of people like this author, even though this one didn't land quite as well for me as I think it would for some. Really, though, those are my thoughts on Shield in Shadow by Andy Peloquin. Let me know if you've read this one or read any of his other stuff, or kind of like how those might compare. This was, like I said, the first thing that I've read from this author, but I would definitely be curious to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.